Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Digital Global Summit. I am Brian Wenke, Executive Director of It Gets Better, joining you from Los Angeles, California, and I am so honored to be kicking things off today. This event would not be possible without the incredible support of our partner, Converse. They've had our back for the last 9 years, and their commitment to uplifting LGBTQ plus youth, especially through initiatives like It Gets Better Espanol and this summit, continues to inspire us. So, Converse, thank you for helping us build a global stage for queer youth to be seen, heard, and celebrated. Over the next 2 days, we are here for one reason: to amplify the voices of LGBTQ plus young people around the world. Whether you are tuning in from Argentina, Spain, India, or anywhere in between, this summit is for you. For every queer young person pushing boundaries, making art, building community, or just figuring things out, you're already on the front lines. And this year, that's exactly what we're focusing on. Let's be real. You're not just the future. You are the now. You are organizing, dreaming, and showing us all what it means to live with purpose and pride. And this summit is a chance to lift all of that work up, to connect with each other, and to find fuel for the road ahead. You'll hear from incredible speakers, activists, and creators, including folks from our amazing global affiliate network, now active in 19 countries across 4 continents. These next few days are going to be filled with courage, creativity, and connection. So, as we dive in, I invite you to stay present, stay curious, and above all, stay connected. This isn't just a virtual event, it's a celebration of who we are, what we're building, and why queer youth will always lead the way forward. Thank you for believing in a world where LGBTQ plus youth don't just survive, they thrive. Let's make this summit unforgettable.
Hi, everybody. How are we all doing? Yay! My name is Alejandro Jimenez de Ferry. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the co-lead of the Youth Associate Chair from the It Gets Better Youth Voice Alumni Program. I'm super excited to moderate this panel, and I'm even more excited to introduce you all to our lovely, lovely speakers. I would love it if, let's see. Omid, would you want to go first?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Omin Razavi. Pronouns are he, him, and I'm the executive director at It Gets Better Canada. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's so happy to have you. I love Canada. I think it's so cool.
Thank you.
Bruno? Yes, hey, don't worry about it. Bruno, let's hear it.
Everyone, I'm Bruno. My pronouns are he, him, or they, them. I live in Brazil. I'm originally from Rio de Janeiro, but I currently live in São Paulo. And if you can see me, I'm a young Latin person with brown eyes and dark hair. I'm wearing a white hoodie with head, uh, white headphones as well. And this is my voice. So, hey, so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, yay! Love the drip. Big fan of the white on white. I think it's gorgeous. It's Gorgina. let's see. Mieria, you want to say hello? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Mireya. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the responsible of communication in It Gets Better España, and I'm super happy to be here for the first time in my life.
Oh my gosh, first time ever? Well, welcome to the Twitch channel. This is so exciting. And finally, last but not least, our friend. Hi.
Yeah, I'm Alex. So I'm the chief executive of Just Better UK, so across the water. So my pronouns are he, him, and Bruno, you probably led the way in terms of describing yourself, so well done. So yeah, I'm blonde, wearing glasses, grey jumper, and this is my voice.
Very exciting. I actually am also gonna visually describe myself. I didn't think to do that, so thank you. This is Alejandro. I have short, dark brown hair. I have big green glasses that match my green shirt, and I have two little braids that I have from my sideburns. I think they're really cool. Omi, do you maybe want to give a little bit of a verbal description?
Sure. Well, as of last week, I've got short buzzed hair, an aging gray beard. I'm wearing a pink shirt, and yeah, this is my voice. Thank you.
Nice. Mireya?
So I'm wearing a Wednesday black Greer's t-shirt, sorry, with my favorite chain in the neck, and holding my stone, which I don't like. I can remember the name in English. My partner will hate me for this. If you are hearing me, I'm sorry. It's blue and it's my confident communication stone. And my hair is long and it's wet, and I'm using to like a sound really big and black headphones decorated with some beautiful stones.
Oh my gosh, love it. Wow, I actually got to learn some things about y'all visually that I wouldn't have before. And you know what? Omid, I would have never guessed you were aging. Honestly, don't look a day over 20. You and me, we're the same.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, well, I am so excited to be here and lead this, moderation and this speaking. But first, I would really love to kind of talk about what the Global Affiliate Network is and how it kind of plays into It Gets Better in general. So if anyone is a new viewer here, where it gets better, we're a nonprofit based on uplifting and empowering queer youth like myself and everyone else that is queer and a youth and not, everyone has a story to tell. So our Global Affiliate Network is we are able to have people from all around the world, which is really awesome. We have people from Peru and Canada and just a lot of places that I think is really impressive that we're able to reach, and I really am glad that we're able to do that. So today, I think that it's really exciting that we have all these different voices and these different points of view to tell us what it's like to share the It Gets Better message of uplifting and empowering in all the different parts of the world, because I think that's not something that we get to experience a lot, especially in a live setting like this. So I am super excited to get started. I would really love to know, Omid, what do you think would be a recent political or social shift that's impacted the LGBTQ youth in your country, just to kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a shift. I mean, truthfully, a year and a half ago, we were headed towards a fairly strong conservative government. We had our current government at the time, which was liberal and very pro 2S LGBTQI plus rights. And when I say 2S, I'm referring to Two Spirited. They had their very first, well, not the very first, but one of the only 2S LGBTQI plus action plans that were created in the world to support the queer community. So we were seeing a bit of a unfortunate trend where youth were at risk of losing access to, inclusive education, privacy of selecting their own pronouns, and really mostly the important of the freedom to be themselves. So we were seeing this in several provinces through policies that were being introduced. And we were seeing an increase in conservative mindsets. But I think it really forced us to become prepared for what that future would look like. However, as we all have seen, that's not the case of what happened with our latest elections. I think a lot of like what we've been seeing in the US occurring with your current administration became a bit of a wake-up call. So for us, the major takeaway was we really don't know what to expect. Everything is unpredictable when it comes to the political landscape, but ultimately, when you see such a focused target towards underserved communities, marginalized groups, it really creates hopefully a sense of support on the other end that we're really grateful for currently in Canada to have seen.
That's so cool that like you guys are still being able to win. I'm curious, just like you know, as yourself, like in your day-to-day life, what do you think, how did you celebrate when you kind of got some of those wins? Like what were you thinking? Like walk us through
Oh,
it.
yeah, I mean, we're also an organization that relies on federal funding a lot. I mean, we've grown significantly in the past 2 years, and that's because of the support of like just unprecedented support that we've been able to get. So it was a scary time, and truthfully, when we saw that win, it was just a huge sigh of relief. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done. We still need to continue to build allyship. Uh,
Oh no. Oh, that's sad. I think that Bruno disconnected, or I'm sorry, not Bruno. I think Omid. Oh, hey, welcome back. I was just about to say how sad I was that you were gone, but you're back.
I think,
Keep
yeah, I think,
going.
yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it was a sigh of relief, a huge sigh of relief. But again, we still need to continue to work towards building allyship, across both ends, both conservative and the liberal parties, and really hope that we can fight towards a greater good that ultimately propels youth. I mean, youth are the ones that really need to be felt like they're safe and secure.
Awesome. I think that's really great to kind of have those things and to like make allyships across, across Canada, yes, and the provinces, but also like
I don't know if I
across the
skipped out
global.
again, maybe.
I think you might have skipped out a little bit, but I was able to hear a lot of what you were saying. Do you think you're up to like what's it called? Do you think are you here?
Yeah, I think we're cutting in and out. So sorry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I think we can all hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
Welcome back. Awesome. Well, I was just saying that I think it's really awesome that, you and your organization are really looking to make like province and like global alliances. Oh my gosh, sorry, alliances. I think that's so awesome, and I'm so excited to hear more about it. Um, Bruno, I was wondering what you could tell us kind of about any recent political or social shifts that have impacted LGBTQ youth in Brazil.
Really. Okay, so it has been some difficult years in the recent last few years because we have gone through a particularly difficult period with the rise of these ultra conservative leaders who push back against our community and specifically looking for teen youth, queer youth. But even in this hostile kind of scene, we kept fighting because the history of our community is a history of fighting for our rights. And even in this, with this background, this ultra conservative background, we were able to secure some major victories for our community, specifically through Supreme Court. So in 2019, we had the criminalization of homophobia and transphobia, even with a far-right government. And we also have seen some strong corporates working with diversity, equity, and inclusion, with which in Brazil is protected by our legal framework. So um, it's been kind of hard in the last few years, but I like to think that we are the proof that progress can be made even when our democracy and when the social background is not completely in our favor. And here I have to include the incredible power of our queer celebrities and social media and everyone who goes to Twitter, Instagram, not Twitter, Instagram to say about our rights and keep our fight visible. So in Brazil, we have like Pablo Vittar, Anitta, Erika Hilton, who are like big, huge names. And yeah, I think that we're not we're not like in a safe zone, but we've been worse. I guess we're getting better.
Hey, it does get better. And I completely understand. Like, it's hard. Like, you're making these great strides, but, it's still not everything that it could be. I'm curious, you mentioned all these, social media influencers, these queer social media influencers. Do you think that you have like a favorite one? And what have they spoken about kind of like with, overcoming queer problems? Like, is there anyone that kind of comes to your mind?
Yeah, I would have to say Erika Hilton. She's like she was the first trans woman to be in our parliament in a federal level, and she used a lot of social media to keep in touch and to teach our community about our rights, not only visibility, but how we can use the visibility for get a better life, So yeah, I think she does a very, very important job, not only on politics, but on a daily basis. Well,
Oh my gosh, that's huge. That is awesome. I will make a mental note and go check her out later because that is really big. Thank you so much for sharing that one. Yeah, I'm really, what's the word? Curious, what do you think in your area have been some political shifts that have impacted, queer youth?
I would love to say that actually Spain is kind of like a paradox, is how I like to describe, because we are pioneers in LGBTQ right in a global situation, like with the self-determinant laws, and we can see how there are more rights and laws that we gain in the government, in the general government, which are not totally applied in the regions and also are not totally applied in the society, which is a little bit like so not the best feeling when you see how your government is trying to protect you better, try to give you more freedom, while the society is not following that path. And also as like as a personal issue for us in Get Federal Spain, we are seeing how the most conservative regions are not allowing anymore to have like LGBTQ diversity workshops in the schools. They are not allowing us to have any presence in the education institution. As well, at the same time, we are seeing how media narratives are taking more, is giving more space to discrimination and hateful speeches, polarizing families, misinforming and stigmatizing our community. But I have to say, it's not. Like, I think that I'm saying the worst part of Spain situation, but actually, if I see through the social media, through new like public programs, and also like public movements, like led by the national TV, led by the government, I see hope, and I see people working to create a better world for everyone, not only for our community, but for everyone, which is kind of dissonant with the hateful wings. But I'm kind of proud of how we are responding to the hate in our community, in all the like in the whole Spanish society. It's more common to see someone who is against discrimination than seeing someone who is like supporting discrimination. And we see how youth people respond to all the hate comments, to all the discrimination they can receive with solid arguments, with tolerance, with love, with freedom. They are not afraid, and I'm so inspired by them.
Oh my gosh, that like kind of inspired me a little bit. I think it is really hard to like kind of be in an area where, the government is, helping you and then society is not, especially considering you would really think that they would. I'm kind of curious, what, strides has your government made like to support queer youth in your area?
In my area in specific, not so much because I live in a conservative region, but in general, the general government is giving a lot of space to youth, a queer community to share their opinions. The best example is the last LGBTQA plus law that was approved 2 years ago. This law was created with the voice of many, many people, queer youth, queer elders, as we are, some of us were. It was taking in mind every single personal perspective and collective perspectives that we can live. And even if this law can be improved, it was a huge step for us. It was a huge step for, I believe, for Europe and part of the world. So I think that the best thing they are doing is precisely not just talking congresses against congresses, but giving a room for the people who are really living those realities and listen to them and really making improvements and laws based in our opinion, in our lives.
Oh my gosh, I think that's so awesome. I'm really happy for you guys. That's really cool. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing. Alex, I wanted to know, what are the kind of things that are happening in your area, all the way across the seas? How are things different where you are? What are your wins? Your not so wins.
This was the first article. Yeah, not just overly wins at the moment in terms of kind of the UK. So I mean, we had our High Court probably about a month ago now declared that, well, yeah, anyone whose sex and gender are those that are assigned at birth. So any trans women, trans men don't get the kind of same rights, particularly in kind of single space kind of places. So if you're thinking about toilets, prisons, hospital wards, you have to go to the ward that you were assigned at birth, regardless as to how long you haven't been living as that. So we're seeing like massive changes in terms of kind of what that means and people kind of feeling empowered. So I guess the bit that we were just talking about in Spain in terms of like that societal way of being, like people are feeling empowered to challenge people just based on their kind of external physiology, rightly or wrongly, in terms of different elements. So it doesn't just affect trans kind of women primarily, are the kind of, I guess, targets of this, but you've got kind of lesbians going into kind of female space toilets and being challenged for being in there because they happen to look more butch. So it's just these elements of kind of, it's not just trans people who are like affected, it's that broader element of feeling safe. So you've got loads of trans community at the moment feeling like obviously they have to go into the bathroom they were assigned at birth, but that doesn't reflect them, don't feel safe in it. So it's just this kind of massive discord, and where the UK used to feel quite safe in terms of elements around that, we're kind of slipping back and seeing the legal protections eroded, and then these kind of societal behaviours we were talking about a second ago coming to the fore in terms of people feeling like they've now got that kind of legal protection behind them. So for us, the how we sell the It Gets Better message is I guess we're having to kind of shift quite a lot in terms of how we communicate that message, because yeah, at the moment it's not necessarily always feeling that way. So it's kind of how do we kind of continue to kind of do what we do as a global organization in inspiring and empowering LGBT youth, whilst also being cognizant of the fact that at the moment those protections are being kind of taken away from us, not kind of secured.
Yeah, I think that's a really like nice segue into my next question, actually. What kind of like strategies are y'all using to, empower youth under all these conditions that are going on? Like what are, how are the ways that you guys are like kind of, keeping spirits high and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a weird one for us as a charity in terms of the juxtaposition in terms of increased I guess, awareness of kind of LGBT challenges that we're facing, but also therefore more people wanting to share their It Gets Better story. So it's kind of this, like, we're seeing loads more people come on board, and like, we've got more. We're going to be launching our Celebrity Champions program recently, and we've got people coming to us wanting to get engaged, which is great. And they're wanting to come to us because of the challenges we're facing. So it's this kind of weird thing where you're kind of seeing people come on board more. But I think the advantage of that is that kind of dynamic of chosen family becomes stronger than ever, because you've got all these people coming around together and saying, look, I recognize you for who you are, that you are loved no matter what. As an individual, we recognize you and we see you. And I think sometimes that needs to be kind of, I guess, where it's become a little bit more, I guess, just expected that people treat you like that more recently. I think it's probably come to the fore that we kind of start to rally around and support each other a bit more. So I think it's trying to kind of lean into that, in terms of it does get better, in terms of the kind of, you meet your chosen family, you meet your friends, you kind of find that group of people who accept and acknowledge you and love you and praise you for who you are, which is right, because we're all kind of valued as individuals, we all have worth. So I think that's kind of how we get around that message, is kind of coming together and reminding ourselves. And the fact we've got Pride Month in like 2 or 3 days is like the perfect kind of cure for kind of coming together and seeing and celebrating each other for just existing for who we are.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of fun. I love chosen families. Realizing like chosen families, like the actual term, like coming to light even before people knew what to call it, was such like a heartwarming thing. I want to know, what do you think that you and your chosen family, are y'all going to do anything exciting for Pride? Anyone it gets better, or like in your own life that, we can all look forward to? Oh, Alex, I was a little curious about what, you and your chosen family are going to do for Pride. Hey, it's okay.
So in terms of me, Pride Month is great. Like, we have like a UK volunteers WhatsApp group, and the team is phenomenal. Like, every day there are loads of chats going off about like everything that's happening. So for me, I think that's the bit I love most, is kind of seeing all the volunteers kind of sharing their videos, their stories, like their fiancés, husbands, wives, all coming along in terms of different bits. Like, my mum's been to Pride, like she's helped kind of staff the It Gets Better UK stall. So it's just kind of all these dynamics of, seeing people and having fun and people celebrating themselves. I think kind of that's wonderful. Like, I'm lucky that I've got an amazing husband and family that come along. But I think it's that, the love, and just seeing that, like, I mean, when I feel old now, but like when I went to my first Pride event, like there was a certain generational gap in terms of people who went to Pride. Whereas now you've got like all of these kind of LGBT youth coming along, feeling like they can be themselves at Pride, which I would never have done at that age. So I think kind of that's the joy for me, is seeing how, even with the challenges we're facing, youth are feeling empowered to be their authentic selves. I think kind of that's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I remember my first Pride. I was very young, much younger than I am now. And it's just like, it really is like a magical feeling that even though a lot of people try to bring down like the queer community, I think that us having pride and that being like our unique thing, I am so glad that we have that. And, I'm really glad that we all get to experience that together. And I'm so happy that you're able to bring your family into that as well. I also have a really nice and awesome supportive family. My mom was with me to my first Pride. She found the parade, actually. Love her. And I think that that's really cool that you also have a really nice mom. I love family. Wow. Anyways, um, Miguel, I want to know, what's kind of going on where you are. What like strategies and programs are y'all able to use to like uplift queer youth, whether that be in Pride and like Pride, or like your chosen families. Like, how do you like to, keep positive?
I think that all my chosen family, which is mostly represented in It Gets Better Spain, because when I came out, I land somehow in a place where the vice president of It Gets Better Spain was studying with me. And when they see, just told me, hey, do you want to be part of this? And then it's how I started to have my first community here in Spain. And now, like, I have all over the world, which I love to feel grateful about. But about like strategies that we used to follow, and we like to work in, just to be a lot into being the reference we didn't have into finding the reference also we never had before, because a peculiarity of my of IGETSBetter Spain is that we are kind of oldest. um, and we just want to work into create the safest space possible for the newest generations and learn from them too, because we are every single day learning from the new influencers, from the newest generations that are approaching us, the people that are working with us in the Pride. um, I love the like June when Pride arrives, because we start doing more. I mean, we are all I guess also all of you are all like in every different parts of your countries working online with your organizations. So June is our month to finally meet up in the year. So we love to create meetings with other people, with inviting a new community to make bigger hours and to work with them, and to also bring a hopeful message to the people, like, you know, you don't, if you never have been in a Pride, if you are afraid, if you are alone, you just can come with us, and we will be your family from this day till the day you want. And I think that's the most helpful thing we can do for us, for ourselves, for our younger self, and for the new people that arrive into our community.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of fun. Bringing like a lot of people to Pride. I think that's like one of the best things. Do you think that you have like a favorite like Pride event, or maybe even like a favorite float you've seen? I've never been to Pride where you are for obvious reasons, but I really want to know like what is your favorite part of like Pride aside from like bringing in people, you know?
Since a couple years ago, we are doing an event before Pride with a Spanish brand that is so queer friendly, and they are always working between their workers and the customers to apply good LGBTQ policies. So we love to work with them, and every year since I believe 2023, we are creating an event before Pride, and we meet up and we make up, and there are makeup artists there, and they made us all beautiful and shiny, and it's such a moment where we connect with ourselves, we connect with people that we never met, and suddenly we are all this same like shining ball of people is how I see it. Like we feel like a disco ball all together. We are just pure fantasy, unicorn. I don't know how to explain it, but it's the best moment because it's more relaxed. We are just chatting with each other, getting to know each other. It's not in the middle of all the crowd in the Pride, but in the private room where we get to connect with more people, with new people, with totally strangers that they just want to feel like a unicorn for Pride. You are totally invited. It's amazing. It's the best day of our life. We look incredible.
Oh my gosh. So sounds like we're all meeting at your house. It's gonna be great. Who's excited? I'm excited. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Bruno, I kind of wanted to know what you had to say. How do you like to celebrate, you know, Pride, and also like in your part of the program, how do you like to empower youth and just empower yourself and kind of your own stories?
Perfect. So I will start talking about our programs, and then I go to Pride because in Brazil it's a whole other level. So when It Gets Better started here in Brazil, something that we really wanted to address is how do we bring this message of it gets better to a country with 200 million people and with with a lot of inequality between people who are LGBT, but not only this, but for Black people, trans people, queer people who doesn't live in the big cities. So what we have been looking for is to combine emotional support and real opportunities that can uh, face these structural inequalities. Looking for the political scenario in 2022, we have developed the political anxiety management guide for queer youth, because you can imagine how insecure our queer youth were during the elections. And it has been assessed thousands of times, and people have been able to get in touch with tools to navigate fear, uncertainty, and through all this political instability with more clarity and care and ways to support each other. But we also have worked with companies to promote access to job market, employability, and career develop, because we know that um, when we say that it gets better, we also want to create ways to think to get better. We wanted to build paths toward greater rates, safety and autonomy, because in Brazil and in a lot of our countries, actually, just being visible can be risky when you're a queer person. And in Brazil specifically, if you are trans person, a Black person, or if you do not live in these major cities. Yeah, so yeah, that's what we've been doing. We have been building emotional support, but also working with companies to provide these opportunities to economic inclusion, and how can we build the strengths that last. Let's say that. That being said, Pride in Brazil, I don't know if you know, but São Paulo, where I live, it holds the largest Pride parade in the world. It's like it's 100 no 1 million people on the street last year. I can and this number can be bigger. Yeah, I'm playing like low, saying 1 million people, because it's very huge. It's very full of color, full of noise. It's a huge party, but at the same time, it's a huge opportunity to people to get in touch with politicians and to the social movement and people who are on the front lines looking for and fighting for our rights. So um, all this Pride season for me, it's with a lot of work, because we have to get all these things going on. But at the day of the Pride itself, I just like to be on the streets and to get in touch with some friends and colleagues and just watch. We have here we divide Pride in a lot of small group of people, and the first group that walks in the streets during Pride, it's with kids and teenagers and their families. And I every year I like to get there very early so I can see all the kids walking together and their families being supportive. This is something that I didn't have when I was a kid or in the first years of my teenager. So yeah, it's very emotional. And yeah, I think that's it.
Oh my gosh, I really love that. I think that the pride that I went to was not 1 million people or more. But I think that that is so cool to have like so many people and just to like see having a visual representation of like your entire community is so empowering. And it's just like you're literally there. Like you can literally be like, hey guys, I think that's so beautiful and awesome. I noticed you said kind of like you and your program, y'all were able to provide a lot of like emotional what's oh my gosh, I always forget the word. Just like emotional help or guidance. And I want to know what's like the what are some of the ways that y'all are doing it? Is it through like social media, like Instagram posts, or sharing resources? Like tell me a little bit more about that.
All of that, actually. Actually, we have in the organization that receives It Gets Better project here in Brazil, we have like psychologists who people can go there and do the psychologist thing. But we also have some projects online. During pandemics, for example, we had um, a monthly meeting where it was open for queer youth just to join us, and it was held by a therapist who can like hear them and to talk them with them about their feelings. But we also focus on these moments like during the elections, or sometimes uh, people just slide in our DMs like asking for help, and asking for help, and we have a team with people and we have a team with people who can offer this proper help, which is not me, uh, obviously. Yeah, and they can help them. But we keep looking for specific subjects that can like get people in a more fragile moment. So we're working now, for example, in on climate anxiety guide, because you know that queer youth is also more affected by anxiety when it involves the climate change. So yeah, I think that's some of the things that are doing right now.
Cool, that is incredibly interesting. I myself and anyone watching should totally check out It Gets Better Brazil. That sounds really cool. I'm excited to see that. I mean, I kind of wanted to know, what is life like for you? How do you like, I'm loving this Pride ball that we've got rolling. How do you celebrate Pride? But also like, how do you and your program like uplift and empower people?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, it's just so cool to hear what everybody's doing. Amazing, amazing work across the board. Which is like, yeah, the heart of Pride is just creating and doing things that make you happy. And I think it's always so special to think back about what your first Pride experience was like. Mine was in Toronto. I mean, not as big as Brazil, but definitely quite a solid annual Pride celebration. And yeah, it's a great opportunity for us all to connect and see all the different walks of queer communities get together. And what really is one of my favorite parts of our Pride celebrations is um, doing the content capture that we do. We'll oftentimes put people just like on like staff or supporters of our organization will go on the floor and like on the streets and connect with people, ask them questions, ask them to provide their It Gets Better stories, advice for coming out or allyship, and we just get the most authentic, vulnerable, funny pieces that really help support us throughout the year, and they're always so much fun to watch afterwards. But what we're doing this year, we are hosting our inaugural youth summit. We're bringing in around 30 youth from across the country. They consist of two cohorts of our youth advisory committee, as well as high school students who receive grants from our True Voices funds. So this week, actually, we're all getting together in Toronto for a 3-day event. Where they'll be talking about the barriers that they're facing as we enter Pride Month, Pride season, pardon me, and yeah, it'll be a really enlightening, insightful opportunity for us to just see what's happening because Canada is such a large country. We have varied experiences throughout, so it's really going to give us a much more in-depth understanding of the needs of youth, what they're facing, and how we can better work with the mission that we're providing to uplift their voices. So it's going to be a busy month ahead, but we're really, really excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. I was recently just in LA for our youth summit. Oh my goodness, being around like just so many, queer youth for me as a queer youth, youth. I'm 20, who would know? But just being around that many like queer people and like the queer future generations is so wow. I'm super excited for you. Alex, before we go, I really wanted to know, we're talking about Pride and how we like to celebrate Pride. Do you have a favorite kind of like Pride experience that you'd like to share so we can see like Pride around the world?
Yeah, I will do two quickly in terms of time. So yeah, probably personal favorite Pride parade would have been World Pride in New York when we had the global summit face to face. Because we marched as It Gets Better as like the global movements. We all had like all of our own country flags, but it kind of I guess made It Gets Better feel a global movement, and it was World Pride, so it was a vast amount of people and it was very hot. And then I guess personal UK favourite would be Cambridge Pride. Last year we had someone come up to the stall and just said, "I'm still alive because of you." So that tells the power of It Gets Better in terms of that. So it's a personal, like, always struggle not to cry when I tell that story. So yeah, so for that's kind of a personal favourite because that shows the power of It Gets Better.
Oh my gosh, that is so rewarding. I don't think that there's like any better feeling than, seeing all like the dedication that you're putting in really like pay off and like seeing the people that it impacts. Wow. Well, speaking of the people that we impact, goodbye. It is come to our time that we have to leave. I'm so sad. I know you are too. I know that y'all are too. It's just I'll just play it. But I just want to know, does anyone have any last closing remarks? Anything anybody want to say before we say goodbye? Move on to the next panel. Cool, me neither. I think it would be fun maybe for our last. Oh wait, I should probably say thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. This was such an honor to like moderate and speak to you all and learn about Pride around the world with our global affiliates. That is such like it's a joy. It's the best. I was really interested, and it's just really uplifting to hear about all of y'all's experiences. And I'm really glad that we got to. Thank you, viewers. I love you guys. Make sure to follow all of us on It Gets Better Instagram and stay tuned for the rest of the Twitch stream. I'm 20 years young. I think it would be really cool and slay if we all unmuted and said goodbye, like as a group, just to really close it off. Who's in? I'm in. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi everyone. So I'm here. I'm Ogad Kate, or I'm Kate, otherwise known as Ogad Kate online, and I'm joined in with my lovely co-host Jen is online. So Jen, if you like to introduce yourself, go for it. Joined in with my lovely. So Jen, if you like to introduce yourself, go for it.
Content creator here on Twitch. I do Souls games, fantasy games, and horror games, and I'm a comedy focused content creator with a space that is very gay and very proud and loud. And I'm excited to be here. Tell us about you, Kate, too.
Thinking about that too. But yeah, I am a content creator, streamer, and I think my main focus is I am a variety charity streamer. So whenever you guys are on my channel, there tend to usually always be like a charity that I'm very passionate about, and I love working with. Especially one like It Gets Better. Me and Jen both have been on It Gets Better before, so maybe we'll see some familiar faces in chat. But usually when I'm not doing like my personal like charity streams, I am an event tournament organizer. So I try to bring in like different members of the community, big or small, and I kind of branch the gate of competitive gaming while also like raising money for various charities and other people who need our help. So
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and that's really awesome. What's your favorite event that you've hosted in the past year?
ooh, that's actually a really good one. I think personally it has to be Sunshine Cup. So I don't know if you guys know, but my branding is very like happy and sunshines and stuff like that. But Sunshine Cup was like one of my first really big tournaments, and it had 16 teams, and it's a Valorant tournament.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and we were able to raise, I believe, 3K for my first ever like official big tournament. So that was a really good accomplishment, and I think that's when I met like a lot of my friends and all that.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's so cool. The most recently I hosted a Valentine's Day mock dating show, and I brought VTubers on and a bunch of other creators that are like face cam streamers, and I like matched VTubers and face cam streamers together in like a fake dating show, and it was based off of the old like trash TV show, Baggage, that was hosted by Jerry Springer, where people come on and they just talk about all their red flags.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, it was really fun. I had such a good time. So I love hosting like game shows and things like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's like a similar commonality where we just bring communities that aren't necessarily like always interacting and kind of like bringing it into one. And that's why we're kind of here today. We're going to be talking about specifically in this case, Jen and I are going to be playing in a Minecraft server, and we're going to be doing some live building with you. And then for anyone in chat, like feel free to just have an open, honest conversation. We'll be like looking in chat and talking to you guys about like some popular themes regarding like the LGBTQ plus with storytelling, resilience, and belonging. We're all gonna do that while just playing Minecraft together.
Yeah,
so.
It's fun. Gaming is a good space for getting people together, and I love that we were able to get together here and do this.
Exactly. Okay,
so tell me what your experience with Minecraft is.
There's a running bit in my community where I am really bad at Minecraft.
Hey, literally same.
Like I am like one of the most newbie people ever, and like they'll have like a death counter on like the side, and it'll be like, oh, the server just started like 10 minutes ago. Okay, died like 6 times.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've played I played one time when the game like came out when I was really young, and then my family and like kids around me played it, but it never like struck me. And then I started playing it again with my community, and I spawned myself a boat, and then I just started flying away, and I got lost. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, I guess that's my experience with Minecraft. And then I played last year with the It Gets Better Summit, and I toured other people's builds, and that inspired me to try it. I then played it for a little bit and was like, I dug a hole. I did it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, I remember being in that Minecraft server. I made so going back to like my themes of myself and like my community and all that, but with regarding suns, I made like different suns in the colors and like all that of like all the flags, like all the pride
Yes.
flags. Yeah, it
I
was.
just found a bunch of flowers
Oh
just
my god,
literally right next to us. So I'm gonna
it's
pick
a
them up.
sign.
Oh,
It's a
I
sign.
keep destroying the flowers. I'm gonna pick up the flowers. Oh my god.
Oh, it's because we're in creative. Oh wait, no, does it? Oh no, no, just the floor, just the floor. So anyone in chat, please bear with us with our Minecraft knowledge.
I would like to make a small cutesy little garden. I think that'd be
Oh
really
yes.
cute.
I think if you're gonna make a garden, so we're gonna be what's it called? Asking and just having an open conversation with you guys and each other. And you know, like there's one thing that you said to me or said earlier that really stuck out to me was how you play Minecraft with your community. I think that's something that's very popular, specifically in the gaming and streaming space where other like streamers or content creators tend to make community Minecraft servers.
Yes.
And I think that's something that's really powerful in itself where we're able to play this game while also like having fun in it, you know, like
I
bringing people
agree.
together.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of games that really do provide a community space.
Mhm.
That's why I like to play multiplayer games. I like to play things that you have to work together on. Like there's a lot of other like survival games like
Mhm.
Valheim and
Ooh, yes.
games where you can work together and build a little town or fight a boss together. And I just think that that's like really fun to have around. It promotes a lot of togetherness, especially if there's people who haven't met yet but they're looking for a community, and you're like, hey, we actually have a server or something that you can jump in on, and then they do, and then they end up being the best player in the game or something. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just really enjoy that. I'm struggling to pick up flowers and just destroying the floor.
I think when while you're doing your little garden, I'll be on like this end of like the water
Okay.
down here. And I
God.
think one thing that I want to do is going back to like the community thing. I think it's all like I think one thing that Minecraft does, and I think it's a powerful theme, is like connecting individuals. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll make like a little bridge over the water, like a little like bridge, and
Cute.
then it'll lead
Connect to my
garden.
garden.
Yes, exactly,
All right.
exactly.
So where are you building this
Uh,
bridge? I will
come here.
build a garden on like the other side of
Uh,
it.
I will be on I'll come on the opposite end, so behind you over here. Like all the way down here. I think there's like a better like open like water land there.
Okay, okay.
So it's a little far of a walk, but you know, we gotta get our steps in.
I gotta get my 10,000 a day.
So literally I do think the garden would be an amazing idea to connect with the little bridge. So I'll go in and
Cute.
start that.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
so in your opinion, Jen, for like your experience and all that, what does a LGBTQ plus space look and feel like in Minecraft to you?
Oh, a space that welcomes you where you are in life, where you
Mhm.
are in your journey, where you are um in your discovery of who you are in general, and people who just accept you for wherever you are in that journey. There is unfortunately a lot of conversation and negativity around being gay enough or something enough, and spaces that see where you are in your journey and recognize and promote that there is no enough. Like you are exactly as valid and as wonderful as you are where you are right now. and I appreciate when spaces aren't gatekeepy in that way, and I appreciate there's a bee following me. Oh, it's because I have a flower. Oh my
Oh, it's good
gosh.
pollinate. Yeah.
Oh, he's my friend. Okay, cute. But yeah, no, I really just, I mean, in my space, we promote just in general the idea and the reality in my experience that coming as you are is the best way to be.
Mm.
And I'm finding every color of and so many bees. I'm finding every color of flower.
They're
This
attracted
is
to you.
this is so perfect. I'm making friends. Um just coming as you are, it just promotes authenticity of your surroundings and your experiences. And I never want anyone to feel like they have to fake who they are or what they're about just to be accepted. So I'm rambling at this point, but I want to hear your answer as well.
Yeah, no, we love the yapping. We're here to talk today.
I'm a live laugh yapper, okay?
Yes, so perfect. Yeah, so I actually like agree with a lot of your points, and you brought up like very similar like ideals and mantras that I do firmly believe in. Over with my community, I think one thing that I try to how do I say like speak openly with and promote is the feeling of community despite like our differences and all that
Mhm.
stuff. I think it's one thing that I really like to like go on and about is even though like we may have different views and ideals, the main thing is like respect and kindness about one another, you know. I think
Yeah.
come from like all walks of life where our experiences are very different, but also similar in the same sense that it may not look the same like on face value, but if you really delve deep into it, there are similar themes that happen in our lives that kind of like coincide with each other. I'm always about like I think like specifically for my community, I'm all about like raising funds for um people who are in need and like have different or who are just like less fortunate than us or just like need that little extra boost and all that stuff. So it's really important to me that I have this open inclusive like community where we talk about very vulnerable things. I'm super like transparent with my community when it comes to like my mental health and all my
Yeah.
struggles. And I think that has personally, I believe that's something that has got like it has come a long way for me personally in
Yeah.
terms of like being a content creator and also like the growth of myself as a person. I think one thing is like the ability to have these honest and open conversations with uh people from all walks of life together. So that's why it's so important like just coming online and like having these like Minecraft servers, because you literally get to meet so many people, and our common denominator is like we're either really good at Minecraft or really bad at it, but we still play together, you know?
Right. No, I totally agree.
How's it going? How's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm just throwing flowers on the floor.
Yes. It's okay. I'm throwing colored blocks.
This is great. You're doing fantastic.
Oh my god. Yeah, so going on to our next question.
Yeah.
Kind of talked about like us being content creators and like streamers in this space. So what would you say is what does safety look like to you in this digital space?
Oh, I talk about this a lot in my community and just like with my surrounding friends. I truly, truly believe that safety is what you put out, the energy that you put into the world, and
Yes.
not allowing people to make you feel bad.
Mhm.
And so in my space we really do have a lot of conversations about strength and standing up for yourself, and
Yes.
like promoting and working towards feeling as though you can stand up for yourself and the tools for doing that. And it's really, really important to not. Oh wait! Oh my gosh! Wait, this is so cute. It's just really important to make sure that you are um, not allowing someone to tell you who you are or what to be, and we hold ourselves accountable for our actions and the things that we are wanting people to hear from us. And yeah, we really I sort of lost my train of thought, but because
You're
I made a cute little stair step.
yeah. Yeah.
But I really just want people to know that when they come into my space, we can't, provide safety, but we can provide the tools so that people feel that they can fight for themselves and fight for their neighbor, because we are also a neighbor that wants to be cared for and wants to be fought for. So if you enter a space that is caring and keeping each other safe by standing up for each other, then it feels like a safer community because people are putting their, money where their mouth is, so to
Yeah.
speak. They're really promoting like a real sense of safety, because we're fighting for each other, and we're leaning on each other, and we're not just saying that something is a safe space or that something is. I can't guarantee that someone won't be hurt, but I can guarantee that I'll fight for someone if they do.
Yes.
And that's sort of the energy that I like to bring.
Honestly, I think that's really important because I think that's something that is a common like occurrence within community where you often feel like really misunderstood.
Mhm.
And like not everybody's gonna get you, but I think it's really important that when it comes to like these marginalized spaces where we have people in our corner like either supporting us or like being like allies or something, like
Yeah.
I think it's just so important to have these people in our lives, people who are able to fight for us, people who have more powerful voices than others. Like it's so important just to watch out for each other and just always like have like a good like head on our shoulders, like support
Agreed.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do agree with you, like specifically in like the digital space, a lot of people, oh my god, sorry, I'm the Minecraft is
No,
like
I
my
know, it's taking my brain over.
I was like, oh my god, do I need to pause or like
That's why I stopped moving. I was like,
I
wait a second, I gotta think.
oh yeah, oh my god, but yeah, I definitely think like safety comes in like all different forms, like Jen talked about, like making sure that everybody feels heard and
Mhm.
seen and being supportive together. I think I want to bring up the point where um it really is about like me personally, I have experiences like I feel like a lot of us like streamers or content creators in the spaces like um and like other people can kind of agree with where you are in charge of how people how do I say this? Oh my god, I'm literally losing my thought. You're
Pass it off.
yeah, like you're in charge of oh my god, I actually am like brain farting.
You're
You're in
doing so
charge of like
well.
your own self and like um like it's not hard to be a good person. Like
That's
um
true.
like like there's little things that you could do to like make someone's day or just help them out. Like if you see someone struggling, like what's stopping you from helping them out, I just think it's just really important to like um come as one together because we're all struggling here. um we all have our own battles and stuff, but like if we're able to make things easier, then we're gonna do it for each other. So
Yeah, I agree.
mm,
It's just a matter of being willing and capable and having the tools and making sure that the people around us have the tools too, and they
yeah,
feel safe in
exactly.
having oh, I keep doing the wrong thing. How do I, there we go. I
Yeah,
just
I think
want people to be safe.
Yeah, I think having the tools is like a really big one. And if you guys go to the It's Get Better website, they also have like a bunch of resources, a lot of like articles that you guys can read, and even like individuals you could speak to. So just a really good place to be in. We could get a Korean in the chat going.
Agreed.
Yeah, so we're both like gamer content creators here on Twitch. So Jen, how have you used games to like kind of express your own identity and like build friendships and build a community?
That's a really good question. I really try to focus on games and activities that bring me joy at the end of the
Mm,
day, because it's my space. My stream is my smash book of ideas and
mm,
things that I want to do. And then people come through and they like my energy, they like my space, and they want to stay. And I just really find that I find the community aspect sort of forms through the games that we're playing, the post stream activities that we're doing, whether it be like in Discord or in another space. And I just really I love the community that we've made so far. I feel like I missed half of your question. What was the other half of it?
um, no, you're perfectly fine. How have you made friendships with people?
Yeah, and it's really just people coming in, and then, like, recognizing that, like, we sort of match energies, or I've reached out to people that I've thought really matched my energy, and then I was right because we made friends, and I loved that. And then, I am that person that reaches out and makes a plan,
Oh, I love that.
and I feel like everyone needs someone like that.
You're the what is it, type A people, I think?
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
I am a
I'm the
very type
person that
A as
asks
well.
people to do plans,
Yes.
and I love that I can do that, and I love that I have the capability of reaching out to people. I feel like most of the friendships that I've made have been me putting my foot forward.
Mm,
Um and I think that it's important um to know that I haven't gotten a lot of like no's. Like, there's not a lot of people who, like, don't want friends that I've met.
yes. Yeah.
And, feeling like I can confidently walk up to somebody who's doing the exact same thing that I'm doing,
Mhm.
um, and being like, "Hey, let's do this together." 9 times out of 10, they've said yes, and that they wanna
Yeah.
do that too.
Yeah.
So, I really just I cultivate the friendships by being a follow-through person. I
Mm,
don't just say, "Hey, we should have lunch sometime." I say, "Hey, we should have lunch sometime," and then I'll message you in 3 days and be like, "Hey, here's my schedule." Because following through is really important in maintaining friendships as well. A lot of people, especially nowadays, I feel like we make plans with the expectation of not doing it. Or we make plans and we're like, I hope they cancel because I want to lay in bed or something
mhm.
like that. Like,
Yes.
and I'm like, no, if you want to lay in bed, don't make the plan. So I just,
Yeah,
changing the
exactly.
conversation around it, being the follow through friend, planning events, doing the things, and then just having a community where like I can sort of navigate the vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's helped a lot.
Yeah. I definitely agree, like common themes like within both of us is like, yeah, I'm very much the person that will actively go out of their way to plan things.
Hmm.
Um it's getting to like a point where like um within friendships and all that stuff with people, like you do need to put the active effort to show interest into maintaining and building and like, making sure that both of you guys feel like there is an active effort within whoever is in the friendship with you. And I think that's something that's really important when it comes to gaming because oh my god, what
I
happened?
wish there was a control Z. It's
Oh,
fine. I'm fine.
there's another hole, guys. There's
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh my god. Yeah, and I just think it's really important because I feel like a lot of these times where we're always like a lot of I also find myself guilty where I'll be like, oh my god, we should game together,
Mhm, mhm.
and then we'll kind of forget about it, but we'll have someone on our friends list and all that. But it really does take an active effort to make these friendships and continue the friendship, and I think when it comes to gaming, so I started gaming and streaming, or probably like actively, I guess. I always been
Yeah.
gaming like my whole life, but specifically when quarantine first happened, and I think I
Yes.
found it very like sacred to me, and also very healing in the fact that gaming was able to gaming and streaming in particular were able to I was able to find people who had common interests as me, while also being in this kind of like isolating space.
Yeah.
I think that's like one thing that happened with a lot of people during quarantine specifically, and how like I know everybody was like buying PCs and like gaming laptops. I was like a laptop gamer when I first started too.
Yeah.
So it's like super special to me, like gaming and all that, because it's just like I just found it so healing that during the time I wasn't able to like be around people physically, and for someone who is very like extroverted like me, it was very scary
Yeah.
just to not be around people and constantly yapping around them, and like the interactions of itself. um
That
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah, and I think that it was just really powerful in itself to find people who see you, respect you, and like being yourself around, because like
Oh God,
um
how do I
there
stop flying?
oh double space, double
Free
space.
me.
Oh my god. And yeah, that's like kind of why I like started streaming too, because I really wanted to make like a safe haven for people, and I
Yeah.
was in control of that space because it's my space. So I was in charge of like who was like in these spaces, um who we like come and love and stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
was just really important to me that I was able to have a space for myself, and then I know who I am as a person and what I believe in and what I support. And I knew there was like a lot of individuals out there that needed this place, and it's like it doesn't take much to just, like you said, like put that active effort to do something. If you really want to
Right.
do something, like you have to do it. You can't just wait around like expecting someone else to do it when
Right.
you're the one that wants to do it.
Exactly.
And honestly though, I've been so grateful for this space just because I met like some of my long-term friends already,
Absolutely.
and like
Same.
yeah, and I like met my best friends, and then like I was able to like see them at like these conventions and all that, and it's just amazing. Oh my god, yeah, I was gonna bring up, how was it DreamHack,
I
right?
did go to
Yes.
DreamHack. Yeah,
How
it was
was that?
fun.
Did
There
you
was
meet any of your community members there?
I didn't meet
Oh my
any
god.
of my community members, but I did meet people that I've like followed, and like a couple other
Yeah,
content creators. I've also met some new people, which I always love.
amazing.
Yeah, no, it made me really happy. It was really fun.
Amazing.
I found a bunch of cool like I have an idea.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So going on with like oh god, what is the
I
idea?
just keep I just keep busting the floors instead of doing what I
Oh
want.
yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Oh my god, I did it again. Okay.
So one of our themes today is storytelling, resistance, and belonging. So we kind of already talked about belonging and all that, but I want to go ahead and talk about resistance. So
Yeah.
what does resistance in this space mean to you?
Resistance or resilience?
Resistance.
Resistance in the space. I feel as though it's important to hold boundaries and to maintain like what happened. My plants turned gray. I
Oh,
put them down 2 seconds
you need
ago.
water. You need water. Those are like coral.
Oh. It's like my plants. They died. They were resistant to my planting them here. Okay, I guess I won't use these.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh.
I was like, this is gonna be so pretty. They said, nah. Anyway,
Oh, before you
I
start, let's
yeah.
we did get a redemption of a hydration reminder, so
Oh,
go
thank
ahead and
you.
get a
I
little
have a
sippy.
water.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hydrating with? Water?
Water as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, these are all
Coral.
underwater.
Yeah.
Like I picked up all coral. Okay, anyway. Anyway.
Oh my god.
I was like, wow, these are pretty.
I
Okay, I
looked at it,
get
I
it.
was like, I'm so confused, but then I was like, okay, that makes sense.
um resistance I mean
Yes.
I feel like it really, to me, hearing it immediately, I feel like it's very much like resistant to allowing people to tell us who we are and holding boundaries and like making sure that we're like keeping accountability and
Mm.
holding space for are these roots also underwater? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, the garden does need a cool fish tank. You're so right.
That would be cute. That'd be very cute. So I think for me, resistance. Oh my god, I'm having like a tongue twister today. I think resistance comes in many forms. And I think specifically for me, I do want to highlight how
Ooh.
I believe safe spaces are resistant. You know, they kind of in the world we kind of lose our sense of identity, where we have like these like imposter syndrome of like who we are and stuff like that, right? And I think it's really important that we have these safe spaces, and safe spaces can come in many forms, like even just like small groups of like your friends, bigger groups, or like even with your family, you know, like being
Mm-hmm.
around people who make you feel seen and heard as an individual. Oh my god. Oh my god, Minecraft is doing something to me today. But I also think it's just where you feel respected, and your identity of who you are isn't just tolerated, but it's also celebrated.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and I think that's really important for us, our in the LGBTQ plus community, because I think being respected and having people who um, support you and all your victories, big or small, is just something really important. I think that's something that I have kind of um, been been trying to realize myself, where we have all these like small victories, like even things like, oh, getting up in bed, that's a victory in my book, you
Oh
know.
yeah,
uh
definitely.
yeah, especially when you're going through a tough time, like these little things like keep you motivated, and having people that have your back is just something that's so important, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, I just think it's just really important how um having individuals that you feel safe and comfortable with, and they respect you, regardless of like any identity, they it's just so important. And I think that's one thing that I found with my community is like um I'm very transparent to them about like any like mental health issues, or like if I'm having like a
Yeah.
bad day or any of that. And I am so incredible lucky and grateful that I have made a space where I am respected, we respect each other, and we understand
Absolutely.
that these things happen, and that doesn't fault us as individuals, because these things are normal, and it really does need to be talked about, you know. I'm very transparent about what I choose to share with my community, and it is a lot of things, but I know and I believe in myself that my community are very lovely people who
Yeah,
love me for me,
I
and
agree.
so grateful for that.
So hi, Ghost Star. Hi, Arcane Priest.
Hello. Okay, so yeah, let's kind of like anyone chat if you guys have like your own opinions, or like have your own experiences
Chat with
about that.
us.
Yes, go ahead and chat with us. So we're gonna keep this like kind of open ended, and
For sure.
you
No,
and
this is
I are
fun.
gonna like feed back and forth about like what's happening in chat and with having an open discussion with you guys. So, um, why do games like Minecraft matter to the LGBTQ plus youth? I think that's a really good question
That
for
is
you.
a good question.
Oh my god. Oh wait, actually, let's give us like some time to think and like process our thoughts. Let me go ahead and I love your garden. Wait, this is so cute. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm like starting, or I like almost finished my bridge. I'm just kind of like, what else do I want to do? And I'm like, I'm looking at all the items, and I didn't realize Minecraft had this many items.
No, there's so many. I
Yeah.
think ooh, he's wild. No, it's
Oh
cool.
my
It's
god.
fun. I think I think Minecraft really represents something very specific, and that's
Mm,
creative freedom and like
yes.
identity of expression and
Mm,
exploration. That's like one thing that I'm not gonna stumble over talking about because I do think that in Minecraft you could be whatever you want. There's no
yes.
restrictions. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. It's a sandbox game, and
Yeah.
that's like so representative of like life. And I just
Yeah.
love that Minecraft provides creative outlets
Mm,
for people to do whatever they want and to
yep.
have that representation through creation, which I think is very, very cool.
Yeah.
It's also like so incredibly low stakes. Unless you're
Yes.
playing Minecraft survival mode and like you're about to die, but like creative mode is just it's low stakes. There's nothing that like is incredibly stressful. It's a comfort game for
Mm,
people. So I just think, youth like they need that creative outlet and expression, and I
yes.
think that that's helpful.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah, I actually do agree with you with like the creative freedom and like creative control. I think one thing that Minecraft does is it kind of it yeah, like kind of going the same things, but like it gives you freedom, safety, creative control.
Yeah.
I think specifically like so me and Jen we are on the Pride Village creative server and
Yeah.
you literally can build anything you want in this world on your
Mhm.
own terms. So there's nothing like Jen is making her own thing, I'm making my own thing, and I think that's just like something that's so cool about Minecraft is it's also very collaborative. Like me and Jen, like our my bridge connects to her little garden. Like you go at the end,
Yeah.
your little garden,
We
and
created a space
yeah,
together by doing it separately. And you can also
exactly,
work together on stuff
yeah,
too, which is
exactly.
fun.
And
Is
I
there
think
a water block or do I need to get
it's a water bucket.
I need to get a bucket? Okay.
There should be if you just search up water, it should be the first one,
There's
and
a
then you just
search bar?
oh yes, okay. So press E, and you know that little like compass on the right.
Oh my
Yeah,
god. Oh, game changer. Ooh.
yes.
This is the
Um,
greatest.
yeah. So I think in Minecraft, like you specifically can
My
um.
coral.
Oh my god! Oh, did it go away?
Oh,
Oh wait,
I
what?
thought it would stay
Oh
underwater.
wait, it should. Yo, any Minecrafters in the chat want to explain this? Because I have no idea.
I don't think it was coral. I think it's a cactus.
Okay, that might be why.
But now I
Um,
can put the coral down.
yes. Okay,
So that's good.
we have two people in chat. Okay, I'll read them out. So Arcane
Okay.
Priest says, I think Minecraft specifically is super important because it's accessible to kids to help find that representation and community even if they don't have it at home. Almost every public server I ever joined had very visible pride symbols and clear inclusivity rules. And honestly, everyone needs infinite Lego. I
True. Infinite Lego.
yeah, I actually really do agree with that. Like, I didn't really like put into thought about how video games and all that stuff is like we don't have that like that at home, like that sense of
Mhm.
belonging. I think that's just really important because I'm 27-year-olds guys, so I'm a little bit old for or
Excuse
older.
me. You are not old. I'm literally 31 this
Oh, but
year.
you're beautiful, you're
Ch-
glowing.
Oh, thank you.
I
When I
love
turn
that you
32, though, I'm gonna be dead to the world, apparently.
I literally turned 27 yesterday, so I'm just like having like, oh my god, you know. But yeah, like I think I really do resonate with the representation and community at home, just because like I come from like a different like family, different from others, and I think that's just something that I think that's why a lot of youth is like even myself when I was younger, I was experiencing a lot of identity issues about who I was as an individual and what I wanted to do in life. And I think having these community like public servers, like what Arcane said, um, it's just really important. And also to the inclusivity rules, I also agree with that. Like I have always like found like whenever I join like a public Minecraft server, there's always these rules about like respect and like making sure everybody feels included. And I think that's just really like fun and like an honorable thing that Minecraft has.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um Trans Vivo said, also, if anyone in chat, like if I get anyone's name wrong, please feel free to correct me. I just
Yeah,
want to.
yeah.
Yeah. Trans Vivo said, never really had much contact with Minecraft, but I love The Sims. Yes. It's been
I'm
my
also big on The Sims.
Sims is great. It's been my favorite game since forever because I could always be whoever I wanted. Yes. It's really funny to think back now. Most of my characters, before I could even understand myself as a trans person, have always been male presenting. I'm trans masculine, and
Mhm.
now The Sims 4 has so many incredible inclusive options for all types of bodies and relationships.
Big
I find
agree.
I find it similar to Minecraft's purpose, this freedom to just be. Yeah. Oh my god, wait, I love that. The freedom to just be.
It's so real.
That is I'm gonna start using that now actually. That's actually like a really nice thing to say. Yeah, I didn't realize that Minecraft sorry, not Minecraft, The Sims.
Oh
They
no, The Sims has added so much.
adapted. Yeah.
They even have like surgical scars, and they've added a lot
Oh
of
my god.
disability pieces where
Wait, I
The
love
Sims
that.
has really been like a good, in my opinion, one of the better and best representations of any form of like inclusivity in gaming.
Yeah. That's actually like so important. Like I think I think that just shows like the progression of games in itself, and I think Sims and Minecraft do a really good job. I think one thing like how Minecraft does it, right? Like here Jen, let me model your skin a little bit for me. We could talk about their skins. Because like literally like there's like an arraignment of like Minecraft skins too. Where
Yeah.
character like I'm just like this bear girl and I like match with like my boyfriend. So
Yeah, that's
like
cute
we literally
though.
change it like all the time, and I think it just proves that like you could literally be anybody you wanted or want to be, you know.
I agree. Yeah.
That really does show like the progress of games though. Like they're not limiting you to be like this specific person or like individual, and it just comes a long way, you know.
That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Minecraft, please.
Also, thank you for the birthday messages, guys.
Yes. Also, like, yes, happy late birthday. You said your birthday was yesterday?
Yeah,
That's why.
yesterday.
That's so fun. What'd you do for your birthday?
Your girl had to go to work.
That's so real.
Yes. I gotta get that bag in, but I did spend it with my community and my lovely friends. What did we do? We had like a little movie night. We played some games. They got me ice cream and boba, so that was really
That's so
exciting.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then we're officially celebrating it on my channel on Twitch on Saturday though, so that will be really fun.
That will be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a while since I've done like a subathon or like celebration type of thing, so oh god, it'll be a little exciting and challenging, but you know we got it.
You'll do great. I think that'll be
Yes.
so fun.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's go on to our next question.
Yeah, what do we got going on over here?
Have you ever built something that helped you feel seen or connected?
Yes. And I would say that I built um my space specifically and with intention, and I am so happy that I did that, because prior to any sort of content creation or any sort of streaming or any sort of gaming, I was really, really unhappy. And I started streaming with a very purposeful intention of meeting specific types of people.
Mm.
And I feel so proud to have made that. And it's been really nice. It's been really, really nice.
Honestly, agreed. And you literally took like my answer like off me
I
too.
stole it. I knew you were gonna say it.
Yeah, I think it's just yeah, like I think the fact that we were able to build such a lovely and amazing community, but also still have it be our community, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I always like to say that I find a lot of bits and pieces of myself in every one of my community members. And I hope they take like little bits and pieces of me and who I am as a person and kind of like bring it to them, like how they go about their everyday life. There's always like one like running thing I have is like, oh, like I hope you guys have brighter days. Like that's kind of how I close it out.
Yeah.
And I think that just like goes to show that like everybody kind of like we have a lot of struggles together, um but that's okay because we're together, at least, you know.
Yeah.
um and I think that's one thing that I'm just insanely proud of is like our ability to kind of, oh my god, what am I doing? Okay, sorry.
You're
i'm
doing
like
great.
I'm like trying to like figure out how I want to like decorate the top and like all that stuff, and I looked at it and
You're
I was
doing
like,
great. You're doing great.
I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a tough build. Yeah, and I think that's just like really lovely that I was able to make this community and find so many like individuals online and in this space that were very different from myself, but also like still so similar. And I try new games and stuff, and just the ability that like we found so many people is just so exciting to me.
Definitely.
Mm.
And it's just continued to grow, and it's just really nice. And I can look back and be like, I did that. And not just to like brag, but to be like, I actually do have a support system
Yeah,
because I did exactly what I'm promoting doing, which is taking care of yourself.
yeah,
And I just find that wonderful.
agreed,
It's a good time. It's a good time over here on Twitch.
Yeah. You know, I may not have enough time to build it, but I think the base is really good of my little bridge.
The
Oh my god,
base
this
is
is
beautiful.
this is so cute. You know what? Maybe like we could get like our other members of the It Gets Better community to help me finish my bridge. You know,
Yeah, that would be
what happens, right?
cute.
Also too, I'm just gonna go over like a quick few things since we have like
Yeah.
about 5 minutes
We only have
left.
5 minutes, you guys.
Yeah. Let's go ahead on. Let's introduce your build. Like, let's see what you made here, Jen. You want
So
to
this is the looking glass.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yup. I still need several hours doing something here to make something I'm proud of showing off vibe. But I'm proud of my little walkway.
I love it. I love it. It does connect to mine, so we
It
did do a good
connects,
job with
yeah.
that.
And then it walks over your bridge, which is literally so cute.
It's a bit of a walk,
This
but
is the representation of still a work in progress, which we all are.
yeah, honestly, yeah, both of our projects are a work in progress.
Literally.
Honestly, though, I love it though. There's like a bunch of colors, and we don't have to get wet. We could just look through your looking glass.
You don't have to get wet. You just pick a spot and look down.
Yeah, literally. Oh my god.
Show me yours. Show me yours.
So I have all the colors of the rainbow on here, and if you go down and just a little walkway,
Yeah, that's really cute. I like
and
it.
it just like it just connects us
And
together.
you were putting some grass or some trees?
Yeah.
That's really cute. That would look so good when it was completed.
Just imagine.
I see the vision. I see the vision. No, that's so cute.
Oh my god.
I love it.
Okay, so I think for our wrap-ups, what would you say is your one final message for the LGBTQ plus gamers around the world?
There is a lot of dangers currently, but just know that there is a lot of spaces that want safety and want community, and we're all looking for each other. And a lot of us are, as my name suggests, online. And I want to implore people not to isolate and to seek out people because we are all wanting to connect with each other.
Agreed. Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I want you guys to take away from this stream and this segment with Jen is your joy is resilient, resistant, your identity is valid, and your voice matters.
Yes,
So
queen.
keep creating, keep connecting with individuals, keep supporting, keep encouraging, keep showing up of exactly who you are. Because I think in this world, online and off,
Yeah,
everything's always better.
I agree.
You're here, you belong here, whether it's like a Minecraft world, an open lobby, a realm, or whatever you find yourself to be in. But just being who you are and your presence alone is very powerful. And there's always gonna be many people who love you and are in solidarity with you.
It's true.
And honestly, I think one thing that I really like saying is that if you don't feel like you're proud of yourself, just know that as long as I'm here, you'll always have one person in the world who's proud of you.
Oh my god, you're so nice. You're so nice. I also to Transvivo's question, I agree with what It Gets Better said. When we're fighting against so much of a boot on top of us, it's important to put your hands up and to push back. And it's important to create normalcy and expectations for normalcy in the sense that we want to see ourselves in games. We want to see ourselves in communities represented everywhere because we are everywhere and we deserve to be seen. And it's not abnormal to put diversity into a game. It's actually abnormal that there isn't diversity in games. So truly, it's a matter of continuing to play the games that matter, support the devs that are making good statements and creating a more normal look to games, normal being diversity. And it's important to just find it weird when there isn't diversity, calling it out and continue talking about it. And until there are fat gay women as a pro tag, and it's not just a cute cat game called Calico, very cute game by the way, I will not be done yelling, you know what I mean? And until there are selections of colors that for skin tone that is not just 3 tones of skin, I will not stop yelling. There is so much space that we have online to make statements, and it's important that we all, even as diverse people, use those spaces to make statements. It's really important.
Agreed. I think that's one thing, like even when you just talking about it, just finding like ourselves in a video game, there's not many games where I see like an Asian American creator. Like I want to see like a Filipino 4'9" Japanese girl on
Yes.
you know, like I want to see that in my video games. But I think our biggest takeaway is just keep fighting for what you believe in, encourage and support each other, keep exploring creative resistance and queer joy through digital platforms. You know, it's really
Yeah.
important that you have a voice, and um, you know, your progression and what you do might just encourage another person to speak up. And that's
Absolutely.
just something that we want to keep going on, you know?
Yes. And I think It Gets Better is doing a fantastic job utilizing their space
Mm,
to shout into the internet space, and they're doing a
yes.
fantastic job doing it, and I'm happy to have been out here playing Minecraft and building a
Yeah.
looking glass.
You know, but it's amazing. You know, we did look through the glass.
We looked through it at the end. It took me the whole hour to make, but we did look through it.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, please feel free to go on It's Gets Better website, look for the free resources there. You guys can also donate if you guys support their causes and like what they believe in. There's a lot of articles about just like finding who you are, or even just questions that you might not necessarily have like in person. And also just either like follow or like um follow the YouTube channel. There's just a lot of VODs that you could go through about like previous themes and all that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, thank you so much for having us.
This was so fun. Thanks for having
Mhm.
us.
Yeah, and Jen, it was lovely to meet you, and
Yeah, it
you
was
guys
nice meeting
be each
you.
other co-hosts. So, but yeah, I think we're done here for today. But thank you guys. Have a good one.
Bye. Wait.
Oh yeah, I'm
Oh yeah,
online.
we're supposed to talk about ourselves.
I'm so bad at talking about myself. Like I'm just always like, okay. But yeah, I'm Oh God Kate, and you guys could find me on Oh God Kate online, pretty much anywhere. The same username all around. Again, I'm a variety charity streamer, so I literally play any game you want me to play or whatever I think I want to play that day. And yeah, I'm always hosting these charity events and just supporting meaningful causes. Like I supported It Gets Better and a bunch of other places. So you guys even want to support or even just hang out, my place is a safe place for you guys. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Jen, close it out.
I'm Jen. I'm a comedy focused content creator here on this space and over on a lot of other spaces. I am online, like my name suggests. You can find me everywhere at Jen is Online. This was super, super fun. It was nice chatting with Kate. Kate did a fantastic job being the lead host, by the way. Literally 5 seconds before we went live, Kate was like, "So, do you want to ask the questions or do I?" And I said, "Go, girl." And she's out here slaying. So,
I should.
fantastic job. You did so well. You did so well. It was super good. This was fun. Thank you
Yes.
so much. It Gets Better. We'll see you guys online. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our 2025 Global Summit. And we're in the last session of the day, which is so hard to believe that, day one is just flown by. But we are here with two incredible young LGBTQ plus leaders, and I'm super stoked for our final session of the day. So our topic that we're going to be jumping into, we're talking about games. We just had such a lovely Minecraft session, which I agree. I'm like, I don't understand how Minecraft works. So every time I see somebody play it, I'm like, yeah, destroy all those flowers. I don't know what the alternative is. But our topic today is leveling up, how LGBTQ plus youth are fighting back globally. And the whole theme of today has been queer youth on the front lines. All around the world, we are seeing LGBTQ plus young people in a truly tremendous show of creativity and innovation, which is just going to be like my buzzwords for today, rising up to the challenges being presented politically, culturally, just at all of these different levels of society that LGBTQ plus young people are just like meeting the moment where it is. The courage and creativity that are being shown are antidotes to the challenges that we are experiencing, and the genuine care and working within these challenges to make sure that other LGBTQ plus youth are supported, loved, and are doing what It Gets Better. Our main mission is seeing that brighter future ahead. My name is Ariella Asseline. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the Senior Manager of Programs and Operations here at It Gets Better. A huge part of my work, which is some of the proudest work I've ever done, is overseeing our It Gets Better Changemakers program. For now, our 4th year, our newest grantees are being meticulously reviewed by our team, and I'm so excited to eventually share all of the incredible projects that are coming out with the world soon. But I am just so honored to be here with 2 change makers and 2 recipients of our grants. So I'll give you both your moments to shine. But just a little bit about the Change Makers program. What we do is really empower young LGBTQ plus people to look at their communities, identify a problem, and then come to us with a project plan to be able to remedy that. And these projects are just over the moon, like the coolest things in the world. We have youth summit leadership conferences where we have GSA leaders across their states, districts, schools come together and just have like these explosively beautiful moments of joy. So many different care closets, which are providing young trans people the opportunity to get resources for free where they might not be able to get that in a home environment. Just truly outstanding projects. So I'm so excited to be here with Liliana and Akiko. And I will give you, both of you, the opportunity to share a little bit about yourselves, but I'm just going to sing your praises a little bit. So Liliana is our current grantee for our It Gets Better Changemakers program from Idaho, who has the most incredible project. I love seeing all the photos, and when the project works with a lot of young people and also adults from schools and nonprofits, but typically, we have the adults that are running a program, but here we have a young person who, is running this ship from top to bottom, is not overly communicative, but like so communicative, getting everything done, the most perfect reports. So it's just always such a pleasure to work with somebody who is not only so, organized, but has such a clear vision for the work that you're doing. And so I'm just so honored to have you here. And Akiko this is your 2nd year as a Youth Voice, which is our flagship ambassador program. So we're so sad to see you graduate, but it's incredible to have worked with you for the last 2 years. You're such a bright light, so thoughtful in all of the work that you do. And last year was also a recipient of a Changemakers grant to do a queer prom. And it was in Iowa, right? That's where the prom was held. Yeah. So very to have the 2 of you here, both from 2 states that within the United States are facing your own challenges when it comes to political challenges, cultural challenges of just, I was thinking about the first session where from our It Gets Better Spain affiliate was talking about how the government might be supportive actually, but
then the culture is not as supportive, and what an interesting challenge that might be. So that's enough about me yapping. Akiko backstage was like, "Do you want us to talk for 45 minutes?" And here I went. So I'm gonna get you two to start off. So first, would love a little bit of context before jumping into solutions. It's always helpful to have an idea of where we're coming from. So both of you, and I'll start with Liliana, you first. What are the challenges that your communities are facing? And just giving like a little bit of an idea of where you are, and then we'll circle back to how you fixed it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me on here. My name is Liliana. I use she, they pronouns. I live in Idaho. I've been born and raised there my entire life. And recently, over the last like 3 or 4 years, we've really seen a very large increase in anti-LGBTQ legislation and specifically anti-trans legislation. And as a trans person myself, this has made me very, very motivated to be more politically active, seeing the rights of myself and the rights of my friends and community start to slowly get taken away. A couple, like the first thing that we saw here was a sports ban for transgender athletes in high school that has been undergoing litigation for a few years. And then we have seen gender affirming care bans, as well as bans on accessing bathrooms for trans students in schools, pretty much across the board. We had a really rough year last year with, I think, about 10 anti-trans bills specifically passing through the legislature. And one of the biggest issues we've had is getting the legislators to like hear our stories and understand where we're coming from, what we need, and actually like get that change implemented. So like I've been involved with testifying and working on trying to fight back against a lot of these oppressive bills, but there's a large push that is trying to pass these bills and is succeeding in passing these laws, which has made life significantly harder here for LGBTQ people, which has been kind of hard for me because I've grown up in Idaho my entire life, and I've seen it as like this beautiful place. There's tons of nature. I love running outside, all this beautiful stuff about the state itself. But with the recent actions of the government, it's also made the culture in Idaho, similar to what Aria was saying about Spain, it's made the culture significantly less welcoming and friendly to the LGBTQ community. So that's my little snippet about Idaho.
Yikes! But thank you for sharing. Akiko, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And Liliana, it's so nice to meet you. I've read about your like grants and like the work you're doing. It's really so incredible. In terms of myself, I currently am a student at Georgetown University, but I, as Ariel mentioned, lived in Iowa for 2 years. Actually moved there from Los Angeles, where I predominantly grew up. But 2 days before my junior year of high school, I did move to Iowa, which I think are very different places. And a lot of people are like, why did you move to Iowa? Isn't the only thing there corn? I'm like, fair, we have so much corn. But it's actually, I really love living there, despite the fact that, kind of as Liliana has mentioned, there's this like increasing polarization that's just kind of encroaching on the like political and cultural landscape. But also I think these two very different places of the very progressive, but also like kind of like massive metropolitan sprawl of Los Angeles compared to like the small town vibe of Iowa that I currently live in has really shaped how I kind of see community, and also subsequently how I approach activism and my work with It Gets Better as a youth voice.
I love that. I'm so curious. I would love to hear a little bit about like what that change is, and now particularly like as a first year in university, maybe what you've been able to bring to your activist work there.
Yeah, no, I think something that really stood out to me when I moved, I was really nervous to move actually, because obviously read the headlines, read about the book bans, and read about the like sweeping anti-trans legislation. And we have a very conservative governor, But actually what surprised me, kind of conversely to what Liliana was saying and what you, Ariella, were saying with the individual in Spain, was that even though our government I found to be very conservative and very polarized, a lot of the people still retain the willingness and desire to have this kind of communication. One example that I think really epitomizes that experience is I went to this sort of like summer program with peers, like high school peers from across the state of Iowa. And I kind of went in expecting that it would be very similar to what a lot of the, like, there's a lot of the adults in the room was backed by the state government. And so it was a lot of very conservative adults. And it was very clearly not particularly welcoming to like LGBTQ individuals. And I kind of went in, part of the program was giving a speech. We were like running for mock government kind of thing. And at first I was going to do something very like like very, like something very like chill. But actually a mentor gave me very good advice that to like say what you believe in, not just what you think others will agree with. And it kind of opened up this conversation to be able to communicate more. And like people came out to me privately afterwards. People who didn't agree, but we like actually had a conversation. And so I think it's really shown me that like people are different than legislation, and like people pushing legislation are different from the community members. And so I think going to university, I've kind of like taken that a little bit with me and seeing that like, okay, yes, there's these big scary headlines, but also there's lots of people who are just kind of disengaged. And if you talk to them, they're more willing to have that conversation.
That is so, I love that like advice, like don't say just what you think people believe in. I think that was I was a creative writing major in minor in college, and that was like the best writing advice I ever got was don't write, like you might think to write a piece that's going to be impactful, to write something universal, but really it is like the hyper specific of your own life that people are able to really latch onto and glean something from. So I feel like a little similar piece of that, like you are the activist that people are looking towards your voice to see what you have to say, and whether or not everybody agrees with it, you will be providing some sort of like nugget of information. And I'm thinking about what you started with about, I'll never forget that when I read the book Real Queer America by Samantha Allen, which I know, it's a few years old at this point, so who knows that the communities that are being talked about are really representative of it, but or similar to what she wrote about. But it's about, young or like queer communities across red America, and seeing, that we might have these ideas of what a red state might look like or a red community might look like. But like you were saying, really getting in and talking to the people there, it's such a different reality. And what is happening at the governmental level is not necessarily representative of what the people might believe in. Liliana, I'd love to jump over to you and talking about your project and, what you came to the table with to be a change maker, how it was like addressing some of the specific challenges that you were talking about. Also, anytime I hear books, I have the picture in my mind of your project. So I can't wait to talk more.
Yeah, of course. We applied for the grant last year, and it was toward the end of our legislative session, which ended in about April of 2024. And that was after like a lot of our community had come through fighting, not very successfully, a lot of the anti-LGBTQ legislation. And for me personally, I kind of like seeing the strong resistance to our community that is in our government right now, and the strong conservative force that is there, made me kind of want to shift my focus. So when I saw the opportunity to apply for the grant, I got really excited because I realized that like one of the most important things that we can be doing right now is focusing on community work and building community and making sure we're taking care of each other. So that was really the overarching goal with this grant that we applied for, was to create this permanent LGBTQ plus student safe space in my high school that would just be in the library and be open and free to all students to use at all times, and just have that constant reminder of queer joy that I felt like we all needed, especially right now. And this kind of came in a different little initiatives, as I kind of like to call them. We, as Aria mentioned, we bought a ton of LGBTQ books, which is something that I nerded out over because I am a huge book fan. So I just got to go through and find, I think we got about 150 new LGBTQ books for our library, and got them all set out within the library. And one of our biggest ideas, or things that we tried to like debate back and forth on, is how to display the books. Because one of the things that we were working through was a book bill that passed that allowed books to be pulled for having homosexuality in it. And so our decision was that we just, with the books that we bought, we put them throughout the library. We didn't make a specific LGBTQ section. We wanted to make sure the books were super accessible and easy to access for anybody, even if you're questioning or just want to read a cute romance novel, because who doesn't from time to time? But beyond that, we just wanted to create that permanent community space. And seeing, I personally love the mission of It Gets Better, which is kind of like an inspiration for our project, like helping youth remember that we do have a future and that there is hope. And so for our opening event, we were able to bring in the author Aidan Thomas, who wrote Cemetery Boys and Sunbury Trials, all those cool books. And they did a really amazing virtual talk with us. I got to talk about their experiences and how they kind of like work through their tough times through writing and creating those different perspectives and experiences, which again was a really crucial reminder to a lot of our community that we do have a future and that we do have hope and that we can live our authentic lives despite all of the anti-LGBTQ rhetoric that is out there. And so yeah, we have this now permanent community space that is right in the middle of our library, right by the window so that everybody can see it, right by our school's pride flag. Yeah, it's been really popular. I know a lot of people have found a nice little home there.
I love that. Yeah. And like I said, like I think about the photo that you sent of just like the beams of light coming through these windows into this space. And I do think about I think it was Alex also from It Gets Better UK at the beginning of the first session where he was talking about, the arc of what it means it gets better, of, that we could look at it and say like, oh, does it get better? Like things look so much worse now, or like, governments are so hard, it's becoming so challenging. And he was talking about how, when he first started going to Pride, there was such a generational divide of who was attending Pride. And now Pride is full of young queer people who are going there, or people going with their families, or, all this type of stuff. And I do think about that idea of like having a queer section of books, or having like a queer little area in a library, to have it be in full sunlight, like fully in the center, right there, visible and able to be enjoyed by everybody. A few years ago might have just been like a dark little corner somewhere that like has like a hidden rainbow sticker maybe. So I think about that, and just like the general arc of it getting better, that we're getting there, even if sometimes it might not seem it in the grand scheme, to have these little moments of remembering. And we can't talk about queer joy without talking about a queer prom. So Akiko, I'd love to hear a little bit about that and what that was like.
Oh yes, no, that was such a cool experience. I think especially like, yes, like in Iowa, in like a kind of red state, I guess, in the recent election. And I think one thing that was like, it was so cool, like you were saying, Ariella, to be able to see all of these queer kids. And we're just like, we had it at my school as part of like our normal prom kind of thing, kind of similar to what Liliana was saying, in that we didn't want it to just be like one kind of sectioned off area, little thing, but like having this like immersive within the student body. And so I think what was really my favorite part was being able to coordinate between like the GSA and different like clubs within campus. Our school called it like an inclusive prom, where it was just trying to include as many people as possible. We had like like had a open closet where we had different like tuxes and dresses and as many sizes we could possibly attain. We had MAC Cosmetics was lovely enough to come to very far to our little town and do people's makeup if they wanted, so that they could really feel like they were expressing themselves however they wanted to for the night. They played like some like music that was like from like queer artists. I think it was just like this really wonderful experience to feel like everyone was kind of like living out loud and like not like it was like some like sort of like little like specific thing, but just kind of this like broad open night. Kind of to like Ariella, your point about things just like gradually getting better. This arc, I think, is very true, and that like we see, you know, ups and downs, but that it's like slowly improving. I think one thing that was interesting of working with because we worked with my school district, which meant that it was kind of difficult to at points to work within the school legislation. And so I was actually curious, Liliana, how with your current grant you've been navigating with like with the library and just the different legislation imposed on education currently.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That I honestly was pretty nervous about that when I started working the grant, because with all the legislation, I was kind of worried that it was going to seep down into the school culture, which, as I was saying before, the anti-LGBTQ legislation has definitely been affecting the culture of Idaho. But the school that I go to is in this nice little blue bubble where they are very protective of their LGBTQ students. And so I worked specifically with our school's administration. I didn't work much with the school district itself, but the school administration was just over the top, so excited to be like helping out in any way they could with this project to support their LGBTQ students, especially during a time when they felt like their hands were kind of tied on how much they could support their students with the legislation. And so it was a lot easier than I was expecting, because I came into it with a little bit of anxiety, like, oh, is this gonna work out? Like, is this gonna be like a constant uphill battle type thing? But the administration was lovely throughout the entire process.
That's so cool. We love supportive administration. That's amazing. Ariel, actually, I'm actually very curious. I know you've been overseeing these Changemaker grants for 4 years, you mentioned. Have you seen like a shift in difficulty over the past 4 years, or maybe getting easier or more difficult for grantees with different changes in legislation?
That's such a good question again. It's interesting because I feel like when we first started out, that was like I feel like year one, it could have been like the learning curve on our end. You know, I'll talk a little bit more about it. Like, we've gotten scrappy and creative also as an organization to giving out grants of just trying to, we shifted from the first 3 years, it was 50 states, 50 grants, 5,000 voices. And the ethos was, we're trying to get into schools specifically to address change there and happen with young students. So trying to figure out, like you were saying, Liliana, it just made me laugh thinking about it, that like, I think one of the biggest takeaways I had was every single school and district is different, and not in a way where it's like we're all different, but like the policies are very different, and it's intriguing. So I do encourage like any young person who like might have an idea or like a project to change your school or environment. What you might think, kind of like what you were saying, Liliana, you might think you have an uphill battle ahead of you, but you might be surprised that you might not. And at least I think that that's what I've seen over the course of the first 4 years of this grant. Is year one, we had a few grantees where, there was a school in Utah that was just really so challenging. And I feel like I see a little bit of the student leader in the both of you, that like they were just trying so hard to make this work. And they were coming up actually on a battle that they couldn't overcome. And that was okay. It was a learning experience for all of us. And we were able to take the grant funds and put it back into Utah, into different communities there, just to make sure that, young queer people there were not they were awarded the grant. And just because a certain school was not willing to accept it doesn't mean that those students there don't need it, and they work their butts off to get it, so they should be able to get those funds into their own communities. So I do feel like kind of like the conversation that we've been having, it has become easier, I think, for students, for supportive administration, supportive teachers, allies, to get around the policies that might be in place that could seemingly like look like they're going to shut down types of like LGBTQ plus affirming um, projects or care in their schools or in their communities. And yeah, I love that question because now I'm reflecting on it that like, yeah, like I do think it's gotten much easier for these funds to not only be accepted by the schools, because there's like the whole like financial legal part that's curious, but also we haven't had an issue, knock on wood, like recently of a grant project being awarded, they start working on the funds and they just are coming up on red tape or coming up on an unsupportive environment. That hasn't really happened since year one. So I feel like that was a question I was going to ask the two of you, Akiko, with you being like a youth voice for the last 2 years, and then Liliana, it's so wild for me to think about these grant projects happening really over the course of 2 calendar years. That like you applied for this grant last like a year ago. Like what has it looked like? Maybe I want to start with you, Akiko, just like as like a culture thing, and then Liliana, we can talk more about like schools of yeah, what changes have you noticed over the last 2 years in not only the culture, but also specifically how LGBTQ plus youth are either like fighting back or getting creative or like rising up to meet the moment where it is?
Yeah, and I think that's a really good question because especially because there's so many challenges we're facing right now that it's easy to get bogged down. So I think it's also really important to think like how we can move forward from this moment. And to me, like youth-led resistance is doesn't have to be like this like a big like protest or headline. It can also be like kind of these quiet moments, like registering to vote, reading the news, like keeping up with the news, or maybe taking a break from the news, like just checking in with your friends, making sure they're okay after legislation, that kind of thing. I think that like especially in right now, like hope is this very fragile thing. But I think the most important thing is to remember that we're not in isolation in this. Like even though it can feel like, in our town, especially like in a red state or in our school, we're alone. I think in like technology, like moments like this, it gets better, like change makers where we're connecting across just boundaries. As Youth Voice, I've had the opportunity to like get to meet and talk with like youth, LGBT youth, like all across the US and a couple even in Canada, and it's all these very different experiences. But I think if we can remember, like, okay, even if we're not talking to them, even if we like aren't directly interacting with them all the time, like we're all kind of in this together, and we don't have to hold all the hope by ourselves. Like we can each hold these like little shattered pieces of hope together for each other, and like that's enough, and we can move forward with that.
Oh my God, you just stole my answer like right out of my mouth. That was amazing. That's one of the biggest things that I've noticed too is like how specifically LGBTQ youth have been like kind of banding together and taking care of each other in this moment, and making sure that we have the support that we need when we don't feel that from our government or from the outside culture. One of the big things I've noticed, like cultural trend at my school with this grant, is I've seen more like teachers and students like almost come out of the woodwork as being strong supporters of LGBTQ youth, which has definitely been a refreshing surprise. One of our initiatives with the grant was to buy like these little "Everyone is welcome here" signs to give out to teachers for free, because our state did pass a ban that would ban teachers from displaying pride flags in their classrooms. So we wanted to have an alternative way for them to show their support for their students and show that it is a safe space. And when I was passing these out to teachers, I would go into classrooms of teachers that I'd never known or teachers that I had heard, like, oh, they might not be super supportive. And after having like a quick conversation with them, they were like, yes, I would love to have one of these signs. Like, thank you so much for doing this. And those like little moments kind of like help with that fragile hope, like Akiko was saying, showing that we do have a lot of support and that kind of this really big polarization over LGBTQ rights is pushing a lot of people, specifically within our school's culture, to supporting us as opposed to going the other way.
I I'm just like sitting and basking in the two of you and your responses. And a line from one of my favorite, like Mary Oliver poems comes to mind where it's like, joy is not to be made a crumb. And both of you, I feel like, are really like taking that to heart of just, yeah, like these moments are not to be made as something to just like assume that they're going to happen again or just like to ignore them, that the two of you really seem to be basking in these moments of joy and in these like realities of joy. And I, yeah, I'm just like, I'm really struck with this idea that the narrative might be things are so bad, everything is so hard. And like, yes, like I'm not trying to invalidate that that is the truth and that like on paper things are exceedingly challenging and we have to we can't sit back for a single moment and just think like, oh well, it'll get better. Like in that way, like it'll sort itself out. Like no, we have to be very active participants in change. And also to just like have these moments to realize and hold that truth of, like you said, like those teachers are there and maybe they've been there the whole time. And here is an opportunity for them to actually step up to the plate and show who they really are. And it fills me with so much like hope and gratitude and just like, yeah, just joy for humanity to just be like, hopefully in these hard times people will show who they truly are. And to just hear that like you're having these examples of that happen and that like at your queer prom that you're gonna have a bunch of kids like I do like, while I love the idea of like having a prom separate from everybody, it's just like obviously it's like a safe space for young queer students to be themselves, to also have it integrated with everybody to be like, we are not going to be somewhere separate, we are going to be like loud and proud and all together is so beautiful. And so I really thank you both for sharing those examples. Um, I feel like it just like we're gonna take it on that hope train. I would love to know, um, like what hope do you have for LGBTQ plus youth in this moment of time, like both as like individuals or just like as a movement, as something that like you would want for LGBTQ plus young people to know, either as like a moment of hope, what they can do, anything along those lines. That was a big question.
I would definitely say, like the biggest thing for me is that resistance for LGBTQ youth can come in many forms. Like us showing who we are and being our authentic selves is an act of resistance in and of itself. Like just living our lives and not like letting the anti-LGBTQ rhetoric kind of like overwhelm us and consume us. Instead, we're understanding that that's happening and not letting it affect how we're going to present who we are. I think that kind of like Hiko was saying, like it can be anything, like checking in on somebody that you care about, or whether it's like sending a simple email to a legislature, like sharing your story, whether or not they're going to be receptive of it. But there's so many different ways to get involved, like educate yourself, or take time for self-care. All these different moments that can definitely be individual acts of resistance, even if they don't seem like it at first.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I don't want to play like echo, but I think like showing up for yourself in like a quiet way is like just as important in showing up for yourself in a loud way kind of thing. And that like in the meeting that like just like even if doing, I guess like being yourself even if no one else notices kind of thing. Like doing what you believe in, even if like it's like even if it can only be this quiet thing that like no one else is aware of, and that's like that resistance is okay, and that resistance is good, and that resistance is where it starts, and it's how we keep going even when it's really hard. Like sometimes we can't move forward necessarily in the moment, all we can do is keep going. And so if we can keep going long enough, I think will eventually be moving forward.
I love that. And yeah, it reminds me, I have quotes coming to mind from what you're saying of just like, don't fight back, fight forward, of just exactly that idea. It's like, we can't keep looking behind us or, wishing that it was different. I think that some of the greatest strengths of LGBTQ plus youth and, the benefit of youth overall, of just there isn't this huge expanse of time to look past to say like, oh, I wish it was better 10 years ago, wherever it was. You were like, I don't know. You're both, I think, like older than this, but like you're like, I was 4 years old then. I don't know. Sure, I wish it was better. I wish it was like that, but I don't have that context. So like the joy of youth is being able to say like I accept the current moment where it is because this is what I know. And in that acceptance, you're able to do exactly that, like fighting forward. It's not just going looking back and reminiscing. It's being able to be inspired by the current moment and keep moving. Keep moving the needle forward. And I just think that youthful perspective, youthful optimism is exactly like I was saying earlier, like it's the antidote to what is happening right now because you have a lot of people, they're all adults in charge and they're all doing things that are extremely questionable and suspect. And even just like the ethos behind how they're doing those things is questionable and suspect. But the perspective that the two of you have shared today is just so valuable in this, just like, yeah, in the moment, focusing on these like joyful things and being so creative and in your communities. Liliana, you said earlier that taking care of each other through community and really, yeah, focusing on that. I was like, I think that's my takeaway from today of just, yeah, focusing on that part that you can't give from an empty cup and taking care of yourselves. Like you were saying, Akiko, like showing up for yourself, even if no one notices. That is filling your own self reserve so that you can go out there and make the world a better place. I love talking about this and I love the perspective that we're all sharing today. I have just a couple more questions, and one of them is going to be like a cute little soundbite moment because I love that. So my first one, before we get into that little soundbite, is you two might have mentioned it already, but when you think of it, like within the last year of working with your communities, working with your friends, being with your family, whatever it is, a personal moment. Like, do you have a moment that comes to mind that is just like pure LGBTQ plus like youth joy or like triumph? Is there anything that just comes to mind as one of those moments?
I think for me, this is not in the past. This is like not necessarily past year, but I think it was a really like the shifting moment for me. It was at this like LGBTQ like sort of like camp kind of thing. And it was when I was first kind of sort of like had just come out and was still kind of unsure of what I like who I was and who I wanted to be. And I just remember we were like, it was like it had started to rain and it was like pouring and we were just like a bunch of like LGBTQ kids like in the forest dancing in the rain to Bohemian Rhapsody. And I was like, this is so chaotic and this is so joyful. And that's all it is, I guess, is that it's like not about like identity or not about politics or not about anything that like seems to be talked about in the media. It's just about being happy and being together.
I have a super similar story. We were actually having one of our Gender and Sexuality Alliance meetings in our new community space a couple weeks ago, and we were playing a game of charades. And we were just like had everybody write their own like little charades entry. And there was at one point when Chapel Roan was being acted out, and so they immediately broke into the Hot to Go dance. And like we all just like were screaming Chapel Roan and started doing it and singing along. And it was just like this similar moment of just like queer joy of us just getting to be ourselves and play a funny game and laugh together without the pressure or judgment that we felt in other aspects of our life.
Hey, oh, please.
That's so cute. I was gonna say, I think very similar to that. At like actually the LGBTQ kind of centered prom that we had like they played like Hot to Go, and like it was like the entire like large like auditorium doing the like HOT like they dance, and it's like oh my gosh, like and there was like tractors outside. And I was like, this is like it's so like the juxtaposition was just so excellent and so joyful.
Totally. I just like it's this moment of I don't even know how to articulate it really, where it's just like we are all obviously everybody's their own person. Everybody like has multiple different identities that they hold. And also the people that are being like the figures that are being talked about in politics or that we are actively trying to like educate and work against, they're they're creating and they're like afraid of a image that does not exist, like that is not a real person, like the real people are exactly the people that you two were talking about. And I think about this with the change makers. A portion of the application is submitting a video, and it's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And I do like you like look at these videos and they're like 13 to 18-year-old kids, and I think a lot of people forget what, or like, you know, a lot of legislators might forget what like a kid looks like and what a kid sounds like and what a kid like does. And it's so, like you said, like it's just so joyful to be able to observe that, where you're like, oh, this is not this, you know, thinking about like a sport ban of just like, this isn't this person who is trying to like usurp everybody and like challenge everything. They're like, no, they're a kid that's trying to play like, that's trying to run with their friends, or trying to read a book in the library that's just a good story that might feature an, you know, a crush that they also like. But more likely than not, they're just trying to, you know, find somebody who also watches the same anime that they like. And those are coming out at a rate I can't understand anymore. But yeah, I really appreciate the two of you sharing that, those little moments of just like what it's like to be like a young queer kid. So, you know me, I got to get my little soundbite moment. And the whole theme of today has been leveling up. So I'll go first to just give you an idea of what we're going to do, but you're going to finish the sentence. LGBTQ plus youth are leveling up by, and mine is that LGBTQ plus youth are leveling up by meeting the current moment with creativity, innovation, and I'm adding this little part because of you two, extreme joy. So thank you both so much for, yeah, inspiring this conversation. And please, whoever wants to go first.
Oh, I can see us like both going off of you at the same time. I'll go first. LGBTQ youth are leveling up by refusing to hide who we are and finding moments of joy with our community while taking care of ourselves.
Lovely. LGBTQ plus youth are leveling up by connecting to ourselves, connecting to each other, connecting to our futures, and holding hope together.
Oh goodness, I love this so much. Thank you both. Truly, like from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of everybody at It Gets Better. You two are, you know, we talk about change makers, we talk about youth voices, and I think that the two of you just like really hold those identities as not only just, you know, programs that you applied to, but truly embodying what it means to be a young queer person who is learning, taking care of themselves, taking care of their communities, being innovators. And it is just like one of the greatest joys of being, you know, I'm not a queer elder. I feel like I have to deserve that one a little bit longer, but like being an adult working with young queer people, just seeing how much further you'll go. And I have no doubt that the, you know, passion and like care and ethics that you two show in all of your work are just going to absolutely change the world in every little way. So it's such a pleasure being here to talk to you two. Thank you both so much for all of your work, for taking the time to talk with me. Yeah, I'm just really so proud of everything and so sad that our time together, both on this panel and also with your time as It Gets Better current grantees and youth voices, is coming to an end this year. But yeah, do you two have any last things before I wrap us up?
Just thank you so much. You all are both so amazing. Your work is just inspiring, and I'm so glad I could be here and learn from both of you in this talk.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great to meet you, Akiko. I know when I was like going through the grant process, learning about your prom was such an inspiration as well. So thank you so much for holding this space and for letting me share what we're doing.
Yay! And that brings us to the end of day one of our 2025 Global Summit right here on Twitch. I can't believe, like I started this off with, but I can't believe there were 3 sessions and we're already done. So meet us back here tomorrow on Twitch, and we'll be streaming 3 more incredible sessions. The theme of tomorrow will be building community in Latin America. And if you speak Spanish or can understand Spanish, this is the time for you. So much of our programming will be in Spanish tomorrow. Um, and I just love to plug, gotta plug all things It Gets Better. So go to itgetsbetter.org for all of our resources. You can learn a little bit more about our It Gets Better change makers. So you can learn about past projects and keep an eye out for current grantees information coming out soon later this summer. It'll be very exciting to welcome in the new class. And if you're inspired by both of these young people and you think that you want to be, if you want to be a youth voice, applications are open right now. So if you go to itgetsbetter.org, the application period is open for another month. So we just started out a couple days ago. Apply. We would love to be able to share your voice as a youth ambassador. And Akiko, can you vouch? Good program? Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Yes, apply. It's so much fun. You meet so many cool people.
Yes. Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity, and we're really excited to welcome in the next class. And of course, if you are an LGBTQ plus young person and you are struggling in any way or just want to learn a little bit more about how to manage those things, IME.guide, IMI.guide is a phenomenal science-backed tool that is online. And Akiko, I don't think you were part of the class that was part of the backing science portion of it, but another wonderful resource that was informed by our youth voices and is such a fantastic way to learn about your queer identities, how to manage stress, how to manage being stigmatized against. So that is part of the taking care of yourself that we've been talking about in this. So thank you both again so much. It is always such a pleasure to talk to you. And, if we have I was about to say if you have any questions, but I'm like, that's not the type of meeting that this is. It's just kind of, when you hang up the phone and you're like, love you, because you're talking to your mom, but it's actually your boss that you just hung up and said that to. That was my response there. But thank you both so much. And yeah, we'll wave off, Princess Wave to the audience. Thank you all for watching. Bye.